Hello, and we're back once again. And if all goes to plan, I've said at the end of the last video, which I put out on the Friday, that I'd make this video, this part 2 effectively, as I'm looking at Amico Forever this week. I put it out on the Saturday. It's possible it may come out on the Sunday. Because if people are watching, if lots of people are still watching the Friday video, then you don't want to sort of rush out another video because you want people to as many as possible to watch the Friday video. So then just give the second part an extra day. That gives a bit of extra leg room for the first part. But if this does happen, I don't know, I can't predict the future, then I'll just try and mark it as such in the comments on the first one. But if you're listening to this now, then part 2 is already on live. So there we go. Anyways, actually there's also more of a chance I'll be awake for it on a Sunday, because I'm probably going to be in a bit of a drunken stupor on the Saturday morning. We'll see anyway. But as I say, you'll be if you're listening to it now, then that's because it's already gone live, and you can put in the comments what day it actually is, because I don't bloody know at the moment. Anyways, so we'll just get into this. I've made a number of timestamp marks to check out. The first one is a very brief one. They had DJC, RAB, and Geeks for Cash. Nick, he was there a minute ago. He just disappeared. So that's very strange. In fact, it's quite funny when DJC says it. So I'll just get him back on.
Yeah,
good to be in. Yeah, good to be inside.
Oh my goodness, how's it going, everyone? Back from the dead. How's it going? Oh, we lost Nick
Oh, what a shame. Nick's gone.
Temporarily, I'm sure he's at an undisclosed burger location.
Yeah, so he's eating again. Now I can't, unlike the first part, I can't put the subtitles on this one because there aren't any. I don't know why there aren't subtitles on a live video. Maybe that's the thing with YouTube. I hardly ever do streaming things. I mean, obviously I've done it a few times, but I've never actually gone on to my own streams afterwards and looked to see whether there are any subtitles. But in any event, there was just stuff I was watching. I was just playing video games. So that was the key part of it, and just having a bit of chat with people who were typing in the comments. Oh, it's very tired. Very late as I'm doing this on the Thursday night. Anyways.
Jan says, happy 65th birthday. It's 68th. I told you it's 68. I turned 68.
He's 65. He's not 65. No, he's more likely. He's early 50s. I'm 50. I know I don't look it. Thank you. But yeah, he's definitely sort of early 50s. Yeah. There'd be no way someone in if someone was 65 now, they'd have to be about 25 when the Intellivision first came out. So they would not have been into that at the time. Anyways, yeah, so that's a bit of a strange thing. Maybe this sort of that look on his face just then gives it away that he's not really 65. I don't think so. Unless they've just added 15 years on and he's 50. Who knows?
The wrestling games are good. But I was just going to talk. I guess I'm sure Nick will pop in soon. He's probably finishing his burger, then he'll get on his computer. Because obviously we're the only thing that matters, and that's all that he thinks about, right? He only thinks about us and how he can get to the show.
If he knew what was good for him. Yeah.
Yeah, the wrestling games are good.
Okay, so then we move on to a bit later on, 19 minutes 30 almost, and this is quite a long bit. They talk about it for in a straight path, and it's very interesting. Let's get into it.
But I was just going to talk. I guess I'm sure Nick will pop in soon. He's probably finishing his burger, then he'll get on his computer.
Well, normally he just talks while eating anyway.
Because obviously we're the only thing that matters, and that's all that he thinks about, right? He only thinks about us and how he can get to the show.
If he knew what was good for him. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, I do like the look of old Atari VCS games. or aka 2600 games. RAB's got a fair few on his shelf there. I presume DJC's got some as well. But yeah, back in the day, I wish I'd had a whole raft of those games on my shelf. As a kid at school, age up to 10 or a little bit further up beyond that. Yeah, so sort of between about 8 and 15, I guess, or maybe about 8 and 12, 8 and 13. Playing the ZX Spectrum, playing the Atari 2600. No way could I have afforded them because I was on pocket money of twopence a week, and the games were about £30 sterling. So yeah, no chance of buying them all. And of course, I could go out and pay silly money for them now. I remember seeing them a few years ago at a retro, a retro game show, and there were like stalls selling them for about £8 or £9 each. I thought even then they seemed high, overpriced. God, compared to what you could pay for them now, that was quite reasonable by comparison. Anyway, but they just sit on a shelf gathering dust, so a bit of a waste of time if I had done that.
No, I put out a video earlier, and you guys can check it out. I was just kind of showing where I stand with the channel, and then
just on the first class train to Madtown.
I kind of mentioned the show a little bit, which that's why I kind of wanted to talk to these guys and kind of them and I was kind of saying that I have pure confidence this thing's happening.
Oh, God.
Do I think it's going to be this year? I don't know, and I don't.
No is the answer.
I don't know if. I know a lot of people like to misquote or say, that I said this or said this, and I know there's like a couple of people going, we still haven't heard anything. I'm like, I didn't expect anything till like middle or end of this month.
Yeah, every month you keep saying it may be coming this month.
It would have been awesome if we heard like in the next week or two, but I know they're still working.
They're not still working. In fact, it just reminded me. I meant to show in the last video. Can we just bring this up? Just very briefly. There's terminated account, very hilarious. Hey man, there's a few comments in this. We just see which one it was. People running the company got them into this situation. Said someone who hides who they are. Never tried launching a whole new video game console ever. You oversimplified a response to a complex process which entails a variety. Blah blah blah. Another idiot shilling for this nonsense. Yeah. So let's just see. This is it, Mystic. Mystic Seer. Be fair, DJC. Those other channels weren't recycling news recently about Intellivision offices closing. The videos were about the last of the offices closing. The last ones. Sorry, man, but laying off virtually the entire staff and closing all the offices is not a successful business model. Amico is dead. Get over it and move on, please. Yeah, for the good of your mental health. So, I don't know that. Papa Pete. No, it's not Papa Pete. Now they're recycling the same news, and I can understand why, because of clicks. No, that's what DJC is doing. Specky Horace. Cool. Horace goes skiing. No, they weren't, just as explained. Precisely. DJC. We knew about the downsizing for the benefit of the company 3 months ago. They shut down Utah before that. They never had a Utah. They just hired it for a day just to make a fucking video. How can you not fucking realise that? They still have offices in Europe. Where? If anyone's watching this and you know where the offices are in Europe, the Hans used to be at, and he's long since gone after having a free holiday to Egypt on your dime, if you've still got money invested. Go to the Europe offices and please take pictures and find out if they're still in business, because we know they're not. They can work in smaller facilities in the USA. Go and find these, I dare you. It was to cut costs. We talked about this back then. All I'm saying is now these bigger channels have nothing, so they are recycling the empty office thing as new news. You are recycling everything. You've never had any new news from Intellivision at all, no official news, and you just keep recycling the same old shit. DJC, no offence, but in my opinion, says Mickey Phantom, it wasn't recycled news because they did stories when the real estate listings went public that showed the interior offices of the empty Santa Ana offices and the floor plans. When you talked about it, those listings didn't exist. That's called following up on a developing story with detailed new pictures. Not to mention They have found a way. Sorry, put my teeth back in. Not to mention, they have a way broader audience than you. Sorry, man. People are probably going to be recounting the tales of Amico on the internet for years to come. Speculator's comments, you can keep saying that DJC about downsizing, but it isn't correct. And DJC replies to Mickey Phantom, fair enough, but saying breaking news, the Amico is dead and showing empty office pics is not quite breaking new news. Maybe access to pics from the realtor is new, but the offices being moved from those places isn't. But either way, it's crazy what this has become, good or bad. I just hope more people will not take it so seriously. Let people like what they like. I just hope for everyone who spent any money on this, they get their consoles and can play their games. It's a hill and he's willing to die on it. Good lord.
They're still working hard and they're still trying to get these production units out, and those will be popping up. As far as people saying that will they be shipping out in the next couple of months, I don't see that. I hate to say
never.
If it happens, oh my god, I'm so sorry that I misled you, but I don't see any manufacturing. Because the last time I think we talked.
So he said these things were going to come out in September. The final units were coming out in September, and now nothing's coming out in 2 months' time, which will take us to October.
Manufacturing on quite a few shows ago. Doesn't that process take months? Like after, and then you got to run a test run, and then you got to do that, and then finalize. And I know these are final units as well that are coming, but
they're not.
Before you go to MASH, you even got to test your mass production and make sure those came out okay.
Well,
we're talking months, so I wouldn't see anything till I couldn't even see anything at the holidays.
Even though last week you were saying September.
If they're going to do it quality, but if I could be wrong.
For anyone outside of the US, holidays is Christmas.
And then what do you think? That's what I was going to ask.
I'd agree. I mean, we're kind of in this and that situation.
I could be.
Sorry, I'm trying to turn the volume up. Oh, there we go. Shit, maybe it could have been louder. My apologies. Well, at least he had subtitles on the previous one, and I mean, I would normally just in the edit, I would normally just up the volume on each time he speaks, but I'd have to do that in between all my chat. So yeah, hopefully this is now better.
Wrong. I don't know. And then what do you think? That's what I was going to ask.
I'd agree. I mean, we're kind of in this situation where Intellivision thought they were ready to go, or at least they said they were ready to go. At the end of last year, and that didn't go through
Yeah, it didn't go through because they've got no intention of making it.
Or at least they said they were ready to go. At the end of last year, and that didn't go through for whatever reason. Whether the funding wasn't there, they had a problem with the production.
They've all got the money. They're just not spending it on you because they've squirreled it away into the Cayman Islands. Sweet Nintendo Hooligan in the house. Can I ask who it is that's telling you this info, DJC?
We don't know. They haven't said why. They didn't follow through with the pre-production. And then you had Phil Adams.
Oh, Mickey Phantom, fuck off. I think Tommy's going to autograph the founders. He's gone!
And that email at the beginning, the 8th or 9th of June, that they were going into pre-production with a handful of units to see that they have everything worked out, the kinks worked out. Those,
even though several months earlier, when Pete was still OEB Pete was still making these videos about the Amico, he made a video about how the Amico was in production. That was about a year ago. And now, from June, they say they're in pre-production. So they've gone back a step, and they're still not producing anything because they're never going to.
First units, out before they go into full production. You never start a production without getting that in place first to make sure you're not making the mistake of, running 1,000 units that all have a flaw, and you have to go back and manually correct them or replace them or whatever.
They still have to get the final payments for the founders and VIP units, plus verify addresses. I imagine that could take a couple of months. God. I don't know who the dork side is. I've seen him in comments on here a lot. How the fuck do you think this is still going on? I wish these people would comment on my video. We could have a discussion about it.
Other companies have had to go through that, and it is a costly process, and Intellivision doesn't have the money to kind of cover those flaws. I don't know. It's a costly process, and Intellivision doesn't have the money to.
That comment from Mickey Phantom, they've had like 5 years now. Should be pretty soon.
To kind of cover those flaws. I don't know what their timeline is right now, what they're looking to get out. I think if
The timeline is they've gone. The end. Thank you.
they were to go into production this month, they would really be stretching to get stuff out by holiday. So I don't know if we're going to make holiday. I don't think it's likely. I would think when they have started that
Extra Anderson. Tommy said he was going to be on the production line signing the founders. Yeah, that was about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Do you not follow that things have changed?
at full production, they would have some sort of announcement of that. So the fact we haven't heard
that's-
anything leads me to believe that either they've went into pre-production of those units and they are fixing the flaws that they found.
So no news is good news. Again, I go back to Mark Pollard. You know, if I didn't try, well, when he was still in the UK, he's currently living in Canada. If anyone's, I'm not going to give away the address obviously on here, but if I knew that someone was in the area of where he lives, I would try and ask them to just go and knock on his door. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, sorry. Rab's all like, you know, no news is good news. No, if I at the time when he was in the UK, if I didn't try and chase anything up with him, I wouldn't have any conversations with him. You know, you've got to keep pushing and pushing. I mean, I'll never give up on that until I'm dead in my grave. But well, I'll never be dead in my grave because I'll just get cremated. But you get the idea. I'll never get up on it, at least until he's dead. If he goes first, obviously, he's about 6-7 years older than me. But 7 years older than me. But yeah, just Rab. What? Come and chat on my channel. Come be a man and come and chat on my channel. You're as deluded as fucking DJC.
They've come into some unexpected problem with that production process, or there's still a funding issue that they thought they had solved and they're trying to iron it out. And I don't think they're going to say like, hey, we have this problem and we're waiting to resolve it. They've gotten in trouble for saying too much, so now they say too little. And
they say nothing because they're closed. Do you ever sit outside closed businesses, you know, overnight and thinking, why aren't they open?
that's getting them in trouble as well, but it is
I
something
agree
I
with
think
that,
that
too.
they are
Yeah.
more prepared to handle, is to be quiet, get it right, go into production, and say when they've gone into production. And the fact that we haven't heard anything, I just think just means we're not there yet. I don't think holiday is likely.
Hang on. What the hell's that in the middle of, behind Nick there? If anyone knows what that is, please post in the comments. Nick's, but whatever's behind Nick there. What the fuck is that? Looks like some sort of deformed jukebox.
I don't think it's off the table, but I don't think it's likely either.
Yeah,
It is off the table.
It just takes time.
Yeah, it takes time. 4 years. 4 years almost, and nothing.
As long as like we get I think a lot of people just want to know. Hey, we just want to get an announcement. Hey, this is happening. You know?
No, you'll never get that announcement. You've been told that a billion times. How the fuck do all three of you, plus Mike Mullist, just not get that?
You know?
Yes.
I think that, and oh my god, I'd be blown away by that, knowing that, you know, going into the next year that's happening and it's finally happening.
Why would it be finally happening when there's only 4 of you three plus Mike Mullist, who care about this thing anymore in terms of actually wanting one?
Finally getting these, you know, like to me. And Sweet and Tender, no one's really told you. I'm just going by all the info that they put out.
Yeah, so he's going off the official news. So the last thing was an email in June telling you about, so that's 2 months ago, telling them they're making pre-production units, which should only take a few weeks to produce 2 months ago. So they should have made them by now, but they haven't because they're not going to. So you're slating people for apparently making up news, which we're not, when you're the one who's fucking making up news.
And like I said, I think a couple shows ago, I did reach out to Phil, and he assured exactly what he was saying in his emails, that they're trying to, you know, license out some IPs.
You've not spoken to Phil at all. They're not trying to license out Dick.
trying to get some of their classic stuff out there.
They're not.
They're trying to answer the refund stuff. They're trying to put out the console, and they are 100% moving forward with this. And
they're not 100% at all. What? Fucking deluded. He's just making this shit up. Mike, in fact, not Mike, Nick at the bottom there. He's like the, as I mentioned the last video, I think in the about Don't Look Up. He's the I'm going to talk about Don't Look Up again. He's like the the mission control guy at the end, who's just like, oh, I need a status report on this, as if it's still going to happen. And he's got it finally dawns on them that it's not going to happen, and the world's going to blow up, and it's time to get the fuck out of Dodge now. And Nick's just clearly thinking, why the fuck am I doing this?
To make this come out. And that was, but as far as people telling me, it's not like I can reach out every day. That's just, I'm going by the stuff that was said in the emails to investors and customers and on the Amico Club page.
Well, the club page they won't let anyone into unless you pledge allegiance to the Amico. So a hidden private group is no way of transparency.
I'm just kind of reiterating all that stuff when I do answer these.
You're just reheating stuff from 2 months ago.
Questions because it's the only info I have.
In fact, if anyone's reheating old news as new and saying it's new news, it's you.
And I want to reiterate, it is not just Intellivision. They do have investors. They
don't. Well, they've got one, DJC.
They do have investors that have a say in what direction the company is taking that they have to respond to. And they have creditors as well that they need to. Oh,
there's Mike Millis. I'm in IT. We're still seeing serious supply chain issues with PC stuff. Well, that's got nothing to do with the Amico. The trouble with getting parts for the Amico is because it's a 2016 mobile phone chip. And probably difficult to get mobile phone chips from 2016 in 2022. One would have thought the time to get mobile phone chips from 2016 was 2016. Perhaps you could get them into early 2017. You won't get them now. And they could have bought them all at the time, but they didn't, because it's as Darius has said. They had no intention of bringing it out. You can make more money from a flop, like the producers, than from a hit.
To respond to as well. So if the creditors are thinking they're not doing anything and they're folding, they're going to be coming after them.
The creditors won't do dick. The creditors are people who are owed money by the company. But as soon as Intellivision file for bankruptcy, creditors will get absolutely fuck all out of this. They'll be technically in a long line of people to get some food out of it, but they won't get anything out of it. They may get pennies on the dollar, as they say. But so to all intents and purposes, they've done the money. Once the Intellivision announced bankruptcy, they'd be spending more money than they'd get back if they were to try and chase anything up. Maybe send one email that they never get answered, but anything more than that, and you're spending more time, monetary wise, than you'd ever get back.
The fact that they are still afloat tells me that their creditors and their investors are still on board with what they're doing now.
How the fuck are they still afloat with the $10 million in debt?
Have they changed the plans from what they were when we last heard Tommy talking about everything coming, at the end of 2021? It's kind of the last when we were still in good communication with Intellivision and hearing what their plans were.
And 8 months on, they still don't get it.
I doubt it, just based on, the facts on the ground have changed so much. I think there's going to be a lot of changes that come through. But the fact that they are not filing Chapter 7 right now to liquidate and save themselves, the fact that they're not going into, or even Chapter 11 to restructure and try to restructure that credit. The fact that they are not at that point now tells me they are still going forward, and the people behind the scenes, the creditors, the investors, are still on board with what's going on with Intellivision.
They're not. There are no investors. Name these investors, apart from DJC.
And that is, I think, part of the reason why I have some faith in this. The other reason is I've seen a lot of companies that have emerged from near misses as a startup, as a company trying to put something out. This was not easy for any of these companies in the field. Atari, Nolan Bushnell was taken out to, taken out by his team of his C-suite execs, took him out to took him out of the office because he was so emotional about how the company was nearly going to go under. They managed to find funding. They didn't think they were going to find funding. I know, like, Sierra Online was on the verge of bankruptcy. I mean, they had to lay off their entire team, just about their entire team. I think they left like 10 people on. They had to close their offices, their new offices, just because they were killed by the conditions of the time.
Yeah, which just means, which is a real sure sign of business strength. RAB looks possessed there.
Had to lay off their entire team, just about their entire team. I think they left like 10 people on. They had to close their offices, their new offices, just because they were killed by the conditions of the time. Activision famously went through bankruptcy. So there's a lot of companies that will struggle to get through a moment like this.
So a handful of companies have come back from the dead. What about all those companies who have not come back from the dead?
Does that mean Intellivision is going to make it? I don't know. It's not necessarily likely, but there is a decent chance, and as long as things are still in motion, I'll still stay here and wait see how they do.
I just want to address this really quick, and it's a lot of people are seeing this, and this I kind of mentioned this in my video. Amazing, you guys are still on board. What is it like to know that it's finished? Their office is closed. It's over. And that's really the narrative on there. So we talked about this, I don't know, a few months back, and I want to just go over this really quick. We were told this, and people even brought it up as like, why are they spending so much money in offices if they have a console ready to go into production? Why are they spending money? And they kind of looked at that, and they know they were struggling, and they made the decision to cut staff and to get rid of the two big offices.
Yeah, get rid, as the comment said, that you've obviously ignored. No, you replied to it, bloody hell. But you've ignored it again to fit your narrative. They've closed all their offices, and they've got rid of all the staff. But according to you, they can still make 3,000 consoles by September.
And work out of either virtual or out of a smaller office.
They can work out of virtual offices. You can't, if you're just all doing sort of admin stuff, you can work from home now. That's become a thing. But you can't make a fucking production of a console by all being at home. You've got to have a factory that's making stuff. And there are no smaller offices. Deluded.
And then all of a sudden, 3 months later, these YouTube channels are showing these empty offices going, oh my God, look, they're out of business. They're done. No, we talked about this, but no one paid attention.
Yeah, and you were told about it in the last video, and you fucking ignored that, dumbass.
I don't. They already said they were doing that. They don't need these big offices because.
No, they haven't told anyone they're doing that. They just people found that shit out. People found it out. You still, oh God. Dan Smith, it's amazing you guys are still on board. What's it going to take to know it's finished? They close the main office, it's over. Things
have changed. It wasn't like it was 3 years ago when they were, when they had 50 employees there and they're all trying to still work on a console. They told us this before it was going to happen. We knew that, and I think people are getting the information now like it happened yesterday. Like, oh my God, look they're cleared out and they're out of business. It's like, no, they said
they've closed their last offices.
They were moving out of that to work virtually and in smaller things. So
they have never said that. You are making shit up.
It wouldn't cost them so much overhead, and to keep the employees that are working currently. So I just want to put that out there. That I know there's like 100 channels reporting that they're dead and they're out of business, but no one's really looking at the real news.
What the fuck is it going to take for this guy to realize?
So it's just old news that we already knew.
Well, you're always going to have a lot of delay between the big channels getting news and kind of going with what they're seeing and what the likelihood is. And
they're probably going to keep it on the down low. Yeah, of course they are. They're just deluded.
And what they know, which I don't think they know the details. I mean, they're not talking to the company like some other journalists might be talking to the company to find out what's going on behind the scenes. They're just sort of reading the tea leaves and reading what's going on and kind of deducing that, okay, they're going under because they're closed their offices. But like I said, with
which they have closed their offices because it's game over.
Sierra Online, they closed their offices. They laid off almost their entire staff. Then they turned around and they put out King's Quest and Police Quest and
yeah, they put out individual games They didn't put out a fucking console, and they're trying to sell it for $400. How can the fact the price keeps going up doesn't tell you that? You don't get that as a clue.
And Leisure Suit Larry, I mean,
Leisure Suit Larry, not leisure.
You have to get through that hurdle of making it and putting something out and finding a way to survive, or you fold. And right now they're trying to find a way to survive. They're trying to cut costs.
DJC is giving the thumbs up for Len Fairclough. I just want to say I sincerely hope things do work out for everyone, but whatever the case, you guys will always be my friends. I know it's all been crazy, but I'm not against Amico or anyone, even though you'll have lost your $100.
No, they don't have that big office in California right now. It was a costly overhead. They probably should have closed it down sooner. They probably should have laid off staff a little sooner, but
why would you lay off staff if you're trying to make a console?
Those are hard things to do. Nobody ever wants to contract. And
you're trying to make a console and all the games to go with it, even though Goose showed you can make the games in a day.
And lay off the people that are making the system and making your games. It's a very difficult decision and a very difficult place to be in.
Yeah, and the reason you lay people off is because the whole thing's dead in the water.
But they're fighting. They're trying to, put this thing out. And they're trying to get over the last hurdle of getting it into production.
Wrong.
By any which way. And
Wrong.
We'll see if they can do it.
Wrong.
Cameron Hayes says, when's your guess when you think the first production units will ship? I kind of already tackled that, what I think. I think if the latest, it would be after the holiday, or unless something miraculous happens.
So everything was going to be out in people's hands in September. Now it's going to get production units, pre-production units by January.
It happens before. Once again, don't listen to me. I'm stupid, but... What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on it? If everything goes to as planned with, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Production units will ship, not the. Are you talking the final production or these first 20 plus units that are getting shipped out? I'm thinking those ones would be within a month or so, or sometime this month, I guess. From what the email was kind of saying.
I'm confused. What's the production unit?
Unless you're talking about final production, then I'm not thinking until either the holidays or like first of the year, like when everything ships to every. But as far as these production units, probably very soon. That's my opinion. I don't. You guys can go ahead and elaborate.
Oh, I think the earliest we'll see anything going to be towards the tail end of this year if they can get something out this year. It's too late in the year unless they were already producing them. Like, just behind the scenes and not telling anybody to get anything out soon.
Indie games don't need huge offices. No, but you need huge offices to make fucking consoles.
Right, so you're looking at...
You don't see Sony and Microsoft operating out of the fucking shed in the backyard, do you?
Like November, December to get anything out at this point, I would think. And then you wouldn't see like a big bulk of them until sometime next year.
They're putting nothing out in November and December. If you want to get Christmas stock out, you've got to get it in the stores by September, maybe October at the latest, because you want to get people to buy it in advance before they buy everything else that's coming out. You don't put it out at the end of December, December 31st, or even the week before Christmas. Everyone's already spent their money. We're going to spend it at Christmas. So, God, it's not happening.
Would be my guess, personally.
Yeah.
But I don't really know anything either, so...
What have been Intellivision's biggest mistakes that have caused them to fail this up to this point? Mistakes in the spelling. No mistakes, they've just made $17 million and squirreled it away.
I don't either. I don't know how many they're going to produce here in
None.
North America before switching over to China. You can't produce that sort of quantity here in the US. They won't have the money, but they're not going to do a small order in China. It's going to be too costly to, work through the kinks as well through the production. So the initial production is being done here. Where is that going to stop? How many units are they going to get out? Is that going to be 500? Is that going to be 1,000? I don't know. But that,
None.
I think, is going to be, we have to wait for Intellivision to say kind of what their plan is on getting those units out. Like I've said before with the Atari, they went to a raffle where people were getting their units on an early shipment, and then people were getting it in a second or third phase. I have a feeling it's probably going to go like that because money is so tight, but I don't know.
as far as I know, Mr. Black Shoes, I was trying to. There's a bunch of questions, but I know we're kind of trying to kind of blast through this chat because it's going nuts. We have over 70 some people and it's jumping around right now. Mr. Black Shoes, thanks for coming back. Yes, but what do I think that they could have done different so they wouldn't have got to where they are? Kind of is what you're asking. Is I don't know. I guess in hindsight, I guess they didn't really. I think maybe they were confident in they would get through this pandemic, and I think that hurt them not having maybe prepared for that. But
well, the pandemic was 2020. You know, you could make some. You could have bought your 2016 mobile phone chips in 2016. In 2016.
That's with every company that happened to, and I think that was the start. Maybe sharing. I think they shared almost everything with everyone, which I think was awesome as a fan. But it also opened them up to be attacked. I think a lot. Even just for people at the beginning that were just hating it for just because they wanted to hate it. Not even for legitimacy of the console or anything, just to hate and calling threats and just stupid stuff, man. But I mean, yeah, I think they should have been more tight-lipped. I think they should have been more silent and basically didn't announce anything till it was actually happening. But like that's should have, would have done. It's already happened. So yeah. I think it happened the way it was going to happen. And I just think that's just how it is. Unfortunately,
that's just the way it goes.
I think they're trying to bounce back from that. They have absolutely struggled, but I think they're in at a point now where we're going to see something.
Yeah, you're going to see them going on holiday again.
And this is it. And I'm gonna absolutely have confidence in it until someone from the company comes out and says, "Listen, we tried and it's done."
Nobody is going to come out from the company and say it's done. Nobody is going to say that. They're not going to announce any of that. The first thing you'll hear when anything official happens is the file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
And I'll be like, you know what? That really sucks because there's tons of people that are going to be disappointed.
And you'll close your channel because it's fucking embarrassing. You could have jumped off this train a long time ago, got some dignity back, but you didn't.
Not get the console that they wanted and be out, the stuff they spent on, whether it be merchandise, hat. I mean, I'm one of them. Games. I want to play the games.
There are no games. You bought boxes with no games in it. They haven't made the games. When will you get that through your flipping head?
To kind of build on this a little bit,
but
there's a lot of factors that went into a whole lot of mess. And you guys can say, well, everybody else is recovered. And I'm going to call you a straight up liar at this point. Yeah, because you're looking at PlayStation potentially raising costs of consoles. You're looking at the Series consoles potentially going up in price. The Quest is going up in price. You're looking at inflation is going up.
Yeah, sorry. Just another viewer. Why will the previous official statement then say they're releasing new info in a few weeks? I want my Amico. I don't know why. If you give them info, then you can't be clear and consistent. Because they've fucked off. They've gone. How many more times do you have to be fucking told?
Up in price. You're looking at inflation happening now because they weren't really sure what was going on with the economy.
You're looking at the Switch OLED with limited upgrades.
Right. The Switch LED has limited range on it. Everybody's still feeling this. Supply chain issues for everything. Logistics for everything is still having problems across the board. And everybody's feeling it. So you can say, well, they should have been more prepared, but nobody was prepared for what hit. No one was prepared for what hit, period. End of story.
God, he's like someone from the fucking Democrat Party giving a speech. It's like fucking Joe Biden's second in command.
No one was prepared for what hit.
Well, he's just staring at the camera.
Period. End of story.
Yeah, they would.
And you can say the Playdate got out, but the Playdate's still not getting out the numbers that they really want to get out.
But they got something out. Amico could have got something out if it was genuine, but they're not. Because it isn't.
Blaze has done okay throughout all this, but they do much smaller runs as well. But they've done pretty solid. They managed to weather this pretty well. But most companies have really struggled in one way or another, and we're starting to see prices climb up because they still want to make the profit margin. So this was kind of an unprecedented. They still want to.
Phil warned us to keep our pre-orders because the price will go up. Yeah, he wanted us to keep Said warned us to keep your pre-orders so you can keep the money.
Make the profit margin. So
As soon as they file for bankruptcy, you don't get your money back.
this was kind of an unprecedented scenario for the world as a whole, for all companies, period, end of story. And you can go back and say they should have done this and they should have done that. But hindsight is always 2020 because you've already seen the outcome of what the hell happened. When you're there and you're trying to deal with it, that's a totally different story.
Yeah.
And some people had the finances to be able to handle it and had a little bit more comprehensive feel for what was happening, and others didn't.
400.
And it's been a lot of people.
Ms. Black, she's like, we see another Amico price increase. I don't. What were they? What was the new price? Like 300 something?
I think it was 329 or 339.
350.
For the system with 2 controllers, or 2. I think it was 289 or 279 with the 1 controller.
Bear in mind, it's about $290, $280 thereabouts for a Switch. About the same price, maybe a little bit more for an Xbox Series S. And who's going to buy this footbath with fuck all going on in it?
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Did those come with the 6 games?
Yes, there's no differentiation between the games.
Yeah.
It's just
the games they haven't made.
The controller model.
Yeah,
they couldn't. They showed in that lunchtime video that they had to go back to the drawing board with Cornhole, and they never made it. And now the fucking office is empty.
As far as these, I don't know about.
But that's progress according to DJC.
Retail, I don't think it would go up to that much in retail. I just couldn't see them competing. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
You also, and like I said, with the investors and the creditors, if Intellivision is changing its strategy and upping the price like that, that is something that they're going to be talking with their investors about, whether or not, like, because they invested with the fact that this would be an affordable console, and they've already made, pricing is strategic. For them to go out and say it's going to be $400, which would be, as much as, a PlayStation 5.
Exactly.
When you order one.
Is that how much they are now? Wow, I thought they were like, didn't they?
$399
like 500 something, or I'm thinking maybe.
It depends on the model you get. The discless model is $399.
Okay.
The one with a CD drive is $499.
Yeah.
And that's the only difference between those two is the disc drive. Now the Series S and Series X is a completely different beast, because I want to say the X is like 400 and the S is like 300, but they have different specs, right? One is discless and has a little bit lower spec. It's still on that borderline of it's not quite 4K, it's more 2K resolution, whereas the X is 4K resolution max.
You're gonna have someone from Intellivision putting the ones on eBay just to get those ridiculous prices up.
Speaking of things being up, I don't know if that was a terrible transition again. We have the best boxing game of all time chat poll going on. So far, only 61 votes in, but boy, is it a landslide. We have Punch-Out, Buster Douglas Knockout, Evander Holyfield Real Deal Boxing, and Ring King. Punch-Out at a whopping 77%, Ring King at 18%. A little bit of love for Ring King. That's good, as it should be. Buster Douglas.
Okay, so we'll leave DJC in playing with his ring. I need to get this finished, so we'll just get a little bit of. There's just a few little bits to show. So I think the next one's around about 45 minutes. I'm just going to flick through this. Are you, Mr. Blackshoe says, are you guys willing to wait until 2024 to get your Amico?
So
I don't know. I may get one, but I may wait on it. I don't feel too pressured to go out and get one. I know the regular Genesis minis sat on shelves for quite a while.
Just answer the question, DJC.
I think you can still find them.
I mean, if I had to, I guess I would.
Yeah.
It's do or die right now for them. No.
Here we go.
Mr. Blackshoes, you wait till 2024 to no. I think it's do or die right now for them. No, I'm not going to wait till 2024. I mean, if I had to, I guess I would.
Yeah, I'd wait to 2024. I'm not going to recommend anyone.
He will still be doing it. We'll still be having Amico Forever by then. There's something that's 47.50. I can't remember what it was now. I've just noted the time. Let's just play it and see what we get.
Better ingredients. Now everything's kind of processed, ready to go. $5 pizza. It's not as I don't like it anymore. But back when they made them fresh, like I like the best because it's. Anchovies are good if you like it's called pepperonis.
I thought there was something here, and then it just seems to have. Maybe I was dreaming that. I don't know. Who knows? It's they're just talking about pizza and food, which is Nick's favourite topic. Then we had one from Sweet and Tender Hooligan. Would any of you be upset with Tommy if nothing comes from this?
Anyone, to be honest, I would be upset with Tommy.
Here we go.
Would any of you be upset with Tommy if nothing comes from this? No, I think he wants this more than anyone, to be honest. I wouldn't. I think he'd be upset. He'd be more upset if this didn't come out, man.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's put everything in his life into this.
No, he's not. He's fucked off on his music tour. He doesn't give a shit about any of you.
And you gotta remember, he's still the owner of this company.
Is he? I doubt it.
He tends to lose the most to me. Everything he's worked for,
He does. He's gone. You thick twats.
There's no one that wants this more than him.
Oh God.
So no, I wouldn't be.
Let me put it this way. I went into this knowing this was a startup company. I went into this knowing that full bore that nothing may come of this ever. There's always a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was always a possibility. And going in knowing that, no, it does not bother me if nothing ever comes of this. I'm not going to think less of Tommy because he went and he tried to do something.
And he's fucking scammed you. How can you not? How did we get the three Stooges here? Well, four Stooges, including Mike Mullist. How the fuck do these people still believe this?
Was it a little more than he bargained for? Oh yeah. I don't think until you start trying to bring something out like a console or an electronics product that you understand the scope of what you're trying to do, right?
I can't take this. There are a few little other bits just to cover. There was something at 110. What was it? We're nearly at the end of this. DJC. Where's the
prototype game when they first?
There we go.
Ordered, I think, at one point.
Oh, dude, I think that was just a prototype game
Where's
when
the
they
Running
first
Man?
started showing game trailer.
DJC. Where's the Running Man game? You haven't shown it in forever.
I still say they need to do that though. I love that. I forgot. I wonder if I still have that. I used to have.
It was like a temple run type of game.
Yeah, I had a
like
clip
an
of
endless
it. It was
runner.
like,
So
let me see if I still have it. I don't.
yeah, it's the same with the asteroids. The asteroids where
This
they
one.
have the title and they haven't seen much more of it.
Yeah, look at that. You just had like this.
Yeah. So we don't know where in development these are. I would think they probably had some developers that had started, showed interest. They kind of gave an initial payment.
There's nothing's in development. They've just made a video. They made a demo video. And you fucking fell for it. There's nothing coming. These are not games in development. They never have been. Goose could have made this in a day. They've just made a video. And you still think it's happening, you thick twats. Right, 117 was the next one. Because they're just playing the old Intellivision things at this point. Because we have a special guest coming up. John Alvarado. I think DJC stood for Double Jump Chuck because they all believe that this is actually John Avocado.
I knew the Coleco version was coming out.
Coleco, not Coleco.
Yeah.
Double Jump Chuck.
I thought DJC stood for Double Jump Chuck. That's exactly what it is, but you're not supposed to tell everybody.
Aspirational.
That. Then they're going to expect me to know how to do a double jump.
There's no way John Avocado is coming into this chat an hour and 20 minutes into it.
And then I'll just win Finnegan Fox every time. It's just
No, we'll never expect you to be able to double jump.
Yeah. And then 123 was what's this Sweet and Tender Hooligan say? John Alvarado in the house. Well, he's obviously trolling there. We know that for sure. And then at 123, nearabouts. Come on.
So
He does the arm wrestling. Arm wrestling includes one of.
Where is she?
I love anyone that live and constantly working. Love that. I used to have the stand.
She was there.
There.
punch out.
Why does it do this?
A happy.
Saggy Melons.
But it's very close. Stuff.
Yeah.
It's like at the cusp.
Hang on.
A happy
Yo.
face. Saggy, what's happening?
Saggy.
What's happening? Thanks
Saggy Simpleton.
for the little winky a happy
Yo, yo.
face. um,
That's the only time a woman's winking at him.
but
By the way,
anyways,
I'm
yeah.
going to do a shameless plug on the impending victory of Punch Out.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got to do that. Excuse me.
So I recently
wow,
did
it-
a video
81%.
on Punch Out. So
Oh, here you go.
I am dropping a link to the video. If you guys have time,
John
and you're
Avocado
inclined,
just
That's
said-
a lot.
dropping
Yeah.
a link to the video.
John Avocado just said, hi, Saggy Melons. Yeah, trolling Saggy there.
If you guys have time and you're inclined
That's a
to
lot.
see more on Punch Out, there's that.
Hey, John, how are you?
Yeah, he does have a great a Punch Out history on that.
Yes.
Now I can't remember. Did you mention the arm wrestling game in there?
Yes, I absolutely did.
Anyway, that's the end of that. So let's get to the very end of this. It's quite an amusing thing to finish off with.
It's not meant to be.
Hey, off. I'm done.
Well-
I shouldn't have stuff all the way through on call and channel for a while.
Come on.
Well, I thank everyone. Thank Retro Advisory Board, always dropping the knowledge. Nick, Geeks with Cash, and the Geekstorian. Great content on those channels. Please subscribe. Hey, and while you're at it,
Adorable cat.
subscribe to this one. Subscribe to this one. Why not? We'll have more content and real news, not made up.
Yeah, they're not made any of the news up. They're not using 2-month-old news, even though they're recycling. Yeah, they don't recycle news, and they don't recycle. Oh no, they do. They recycle old emails that Intellivision put out 2 months ago, claiming they were working on production units, which they would have had out by now if they actually were, but they're not. So you recycle. You're giving made-up news.
Refurbished from 2 months ago. And anyways, take care, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thank you as always.
Yeah. So there we go. And that's that. I suffered, so you don't have to. Windy Pops. Anyway, I'm going to just set this rendering and then I'm going to go to bed. So, hope you enjoyed that. This will be going out on the Saturday or Sunday. Windy Pops. So at least you'll have one video out before this comes out. I'm fucking knackered now. I've got to get up in the morning for fucking work. Anyways, in the meantime, please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, click on the bell for all the notifications. Thank you, Genesis.